So today I want to talk about this. Everyone knows someone who's a cancer survivor, but no one knows an Alzheimer or dementia survivor. And this is changing. Just getting my thing. So page down. So who am I? Who am I to say that? You know, I'm an entrepreneur with the soul of a healer, been a mental therapist. I've written a book, Get Well Soon. It's fully referenced. It's not full of pseudoscience. And I was inspired by my younger daughter who said, you know, why should I do this? Why should I drink water? Why should I eat this food? And it was based a lot on microbiome research, which is exponentially increasing even today. I mean, it's just gone nuclear. But writing a book wasn't enough. I didn't want to just be adding to another bookshelf. I wanted to do something really basic for my patients, but it's now turned out I've created for a lot of people, a lot of different health conditions. And as you can see, I'm going to say, including dementia. It also does 23 other conditions like celiac and diabetes, high blood pressure, all that sort of thing. And what it does is recognizes we're all individuals. So you could be a celiac who's a vegan or a vegetarian or meat eater, but you also might hate celery. So you can personalize it to how you eat and also your health condition. So coming back to dementia, chronic diseases are caused by the way you're eating and the biggest killers worldwide. And the current epidemic of obesity, diabetes, dementia, allergies, inflammation, even depression. And modern medicine isn't traditionally focused on the symptoms, not the cause. And conventional medicine will treat it with drugs from the top down. No, orthodoxy is to use a prescription for something like dementia or diabetes. So the projected global dementia rates, it's devastating. I love Sarah's description. You know, normal memory loss involves forgetting where you put your keys, whereas dementia involves forgetting what your keys are for. I mean, Sarah describes the symptoms in great detail and also shows how women are more likely to get it. This is a graph that shows that. And I want to declare a personal interest. I had a father who died of Alzheimer's, and I also have the APO gene. So I'm highly motivated to that first sentence to change the fact that I could possibly get it. I might have a genetic predisposition for getting it. So where were we? I want to really use the past tense. Where were we? We had a lot of drugs. And Dr. Bredesen, an expert in degenerative disease, presented to the World Bank on Alzheimer's disease in 2018. And he addressed the fact that millions of dollars have been used to produce a magic bullet for Alzheimer's, mainly targeting the beta amyloid plaque that they say creates the condition. But recent guidelines to neurologists are saying that the medications available, that the clinicians should inform patients about the lack of evidence supporting the effectiveness of these drugs. And they're now suggesting that clinicians should be encouraging lifestyle changes. I don't imagine this is something drug companies would want to hear. I first heard about this approach from Dr. Mary Newport, totally inspiring lady, Awakening from Outside's conference in 2016. She was someone who dealt with helping premature babies' brains develop. And at the time it was controversial. She basically had a husband who was stopped in his tracks by having Alzheimer's, and she suddenly had what she calls, an epiphany about the age 62. Why didn't she treat her husband like the premature babies? Why didn't she use the same protocol for her husband? And I've only got 5 minutes, but you know, she gave her husband a protocol which included MCT oil with saturated fat, which was contentious, and she reversed his diabetes. She had a very loyal set of patients. She started doing it for other families. Other people found they did the protocol, went back to work, jumped all over by drug companies. She didn't care. 64, still didn't care. Then, having done it very locally, very anecdotally, with no scientific evidence, Dr. Bredesen, the chap who was presenting at the World Bank, he started researching her therapeutic approach. And I'm quite happy to share these papers if anyone wants to read them. And he's an expert in degenerative disease, and he has revealed a sort of comprehensive therapeutic regime that improved cognitive function. And he treated 10 patients with early stage Alzheimer's, and he used low carb, gluten-free, B12, well, a whole range of interventions. I'll go into those later. Well, I won't have time. But after 6 months, 9 out of the 10 participants experienced a substantial improvement in cognitive function, to the extent that 6 of them were able to return to their jobs. So that's where I came to when I wrote my book. This is my book, and I wrote a chapter on, a very cheerful chapter on keep your marbles, and a cheerful chapter on create your blue zone, because having read his research, 9 out of 10 was good for me. I just thought, you know what, if we could do a bit more lifestyle things, we should, but it wasn't proven. No drug company would ever have engaged with this until, and this made my book out of date within a month. He reversed 100 cases of cognitive decline, double blind. And how he approached it was he formulated 36 holes. He imagines them as 36 holes in a roof that you've got to plug as many as you can. And he wrote a book that explains it. And I've done it. It's incredibly detailed. It looks at bioidentical, homocysteine levels, thyroid levels, omega-3, Cyrex. It optimizes all of those functional levels of magnesium, reduces exposure to dermatogens, exercise. But and this is the end of the presentation, what struck me most, because all that details in the book, is we had it in the first Neuroscience Academy. Because if you look at top down, the Recode protocol from Dr. Bredesen is all about de-stressing, meditation, yoga, avoiding stigmatization, the top down part of our lives. The bottom up, he included low carb, gluten-free, regular fasting, melatonin, sleep, exercise, HRT. And then the outside in, he emphasizes being socially active, identifying your purpose, lifelong learning, listening to music. And although his is very technical, the approach he's taken, it fits in with this this format. So we are lifting the fog on cognitive decline, and I would suggest we could create our own blue zones. And this is from my book. You know, this is what, you know, the 80-20 rule. Thank you for listening. This is me. I have a program called Reset Your Health, disrupting mainstream nutrition with evidence-based data and real food. And there's one we're doing for dementia sufferers and their carers. Nutrition is not only about how you live, but also how you die. Thank you for listening.